Hello everyone, my name is Dustin Mance, and this is my submission for the Elephant Toothpaste Lab for General Chemistry 2. So here I just have a clip of the reaction occurring. I've already prepared it before coming outside, just to make it quicker, and we'll play the video real quick just to see what happens. So there I have my hydrogen peroxide, some food dye, and that's active yeast. And then you can see the reaction starts. It's not very exciting because I've been able to get high concentration hydrogen peroxide here. I live in rural West Virginia, and the only thing that we had available was 3%. So unfortunately it makes the reaction a little bit lackluster, but I'll go into that in future slides in addressing that issue. And this reaction ended up lasting much longer than that video, but I thought that brief clip was enough to kind of summarize what was going on and give a little bit of a visual aid. So here is where some of the issues with my lab may have been, as in the components of the experiment. I had active dry yeast mixed with warm water, allowed it time to reactivate, as one would do. But I did only have 3% hydrogen peroxide. It was the strongest concentration I could find anywhere. We don't have many stores locally, so I had to just find the most basic stuff for everyday wound care. And of course, you wouldn't use a stronger hydrogen peroxide for anything like that, as it would actually damage the tissues. So the only thing they had for wound care was 3%, which made the reaction a little bit sluggish. Just had regular dish soap and then food coloring. So now to explain what is actually happening within this reaction. And this reaction is the decomposition of the hydrogen peroxide to water and CO2. The thing is that normally that reaction would occur very slowly, so you need a catalyst. That is where the yeast comes in. Yeast is a living thing, and most living things have catalase. So this helps act as a catalyst and speed up the reaction to where we can actually get that foaming and it going out of the bottle. But even then, without something to aid in capturing the gas production, then we would have just a reaction where the gas escapes. That is where the dish soap comes in. The dish soap strengthens the surface tension. That way it can actually catch the gases as they are released, and it forms bubbles and foam. That is where the elephant toothpaste itself comes from. And then the final component, of course, is just your food coloring, which makes it easier to view the reaction and kind of see what's going on as it occurs. And in this final slide, I would just wanted to thank you for your time in watching this. And I'm also going to discuss a little bit more about what went wrong with the lab and what could have been better. The yeast that I used could have been better, more than likely. It was older, cheaper yeast. I could have probably gotten stronger yeast to have more catalyst. I definitely needed stronger hydrogen peroxide. As mentioned, the hydrogen peroxide was only 3%. That was the main issue, as if I had more hydrogen peroxide, of course there'd be more decomposition, more gaseous production, more foam, faster reaction, more interesting. Just all around, it would have made for a better experiment. And then overall, I don't think my dish soap or food coloring created any sort of issue. The food coloring was expired, but I don't think that had any part in the lab. And also the dish soap, I think, was an adequate amount. I don't think I added too much or too little, so it seemed to work well overall. But there was just a couple minor tweaks that could have been done to the experiment to produce a more impressive reaction. But at the end of the day, I do think the reaction that was shown was adequate. The explanation shows how the science behind it works and why higher hydrogen peroxide concentrations would produce a more interesting reaction, as you have more of that to decompose and produce these gases. So I would just like to again thank you for your time, and hopefully this video submission was adequate and my explanation sufficient. Thank you.